Probably need that, right? Check on the sound. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I already know I got it from the fucking little fucking typing in the background. Either way, here we go. UFC Vegas 3. I think it's ESPN. UFC on ESPN 11. We got main event is Curtis Blaydes, Alexander Volkov. First fight of the main card. Excuse me. Jim Miller versus Roosevelt Roberts. Roosevelt Roberts just fought on May 30th, so a quick turnaround from him. 4-1 in the UFC. His only loss was decision to Vince Pichel. He's 10-1 total, and his last fight, like I said, was May 30th. Rear naked choke over Brock Weaver. 26 years old though, rising star in the UFC. Jim Miller's 31-14 and 1, 20-13 and 1 in the UFC. Division I wrestler, black belt in jiu-jitsu. As to Roberts, who is just, I believe, a brown belt. Miller's last fight was a decision loss to Scott Holtzman back in February. 17 out of 31 of his wins via submission, which is what we just seen Roberts be able to do to Weaver. I think the stand-up and the reach is going to play a big part in the Roosevelt Roberts fight. I think he wins the decision there. Layman Good, Bilal Muhammad, or Bilal Muhammad. Good's a second-degree black belt. 21-5, right? Never been knocked out. 11 out of 21 of his wins via TKO or knockout. 3-2 in the UFC. He's got wins over Andrew Craig, Ben Saunders, and Chase Ventura, which was his last fight in November. Both his losses, one was submission to Damian Maia, one a split decision loss to Ezekiel Zaleski dos Santos. Muhammad's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. 16-3, only been finished once, and that was a knockout loss to Vicente Luque. 7-3 in the UFC. He's got wins over Randy Brown, Tim Means, Chase Ventura, Curtis Melander, and then a submission win over Takashi Sato, which was his last fight in September. The fight goes to the ground. I think Good has a significant advantage, and there's only certain aspects of the striking I think that Muhammad has a chance to beat Good in. That being said, I think Muhammad might come in as somewhat of an underdog, and I think that might be good for betting. I've done hard on the last 2 cards. I think I'm going to try to go with the safer bet, which is Layman Good, decision, submission, something in that range. Raquel Pennington, Marin Renew. Pennington 10-8, 6-6 in decisions. She's 1 out of 3. She's 1-3 since 2018. Her only win was a split decision win over Irene Aldana. She's 7-5 in the UFC. Marion Renew is 9-5-1, 1-2 since 2018. 5-4-1 in the UFC. 5 out of 9 of her wins are via TKO or knockout. She's never been finished in her career. She's 1-5 in decisions. So it's pretty simple. If Raquel can manage to outpace her and just outlast her, decision would seem clear as day for Raquel Pennington. Maria Renew, if she's able to land those power punches early, use her kickboxing and put Pennington away early in the first, second round, you can obviously see her winning that one. That being said, just certain levels. I think Raquel Pennington's going to get in there and try to wrestle her a good bit. And Finish. That's a tough one. I think that's seriously a pick'em fight there. I'm gonna go Mario Renew. Maybe knockout first round. TKO first round. Excuse me. Co-main event: Josh Emmett, Shane Burgos. Emmett 15-2 knockout loss to Jeremy Stevens. Decision loss to Desmond Green. There's only 2 losses. He's currently on a 2-fight winning streak with a TKO over Michael Johnson, and or knockout of Michael Johnson and TKO over Saad Bektik. He's 6-2 in the UFC. Both those losses being in the UFC. Burgos is 13-1. His only loss was a TKO loss to Kelvin Kadar. He's 10 out of 13 of his wins via finish. He's currently on a 3-fight winning streak over Kurt Holbrook submission, Kyle Swanson split decision, and Makwan American via TKO in his last fight. He's 6-1 in the UFC. I think if there's a kind of a battle between the two of them, or which one's going to be quicker rising star, I would give it to Shane Burgos. We've only seen one other man knock out Josh Emmett. That was Jeremy Stevens. Shane Burgos reminds me of like a younger Jeremy Stevens. I guess maybe give or take some power in your hands, but Shane Burgos, in some ways reminds you of a younger Jeremy Stevens, and I think he'll be able to put Josh Emmett away first or second round as well. Curtis Blaydes, Alexander Volkov. Blaydes is 13-2-1. Both his losses were via TKO, and both his losses were to Francis Ngannou. He's Division I wrestler, currently on a 3-fight winning streak over Justin Willis, Jamil Akamanan, who I think is that the guy? No, that might not be the guy. And Junior Dos Santos in January. You see the poster right here. I can't see it there. Just down right there in January. He beat Junior Dos Santos. 10 out of 13 his wins via TKO or knockout. Alexander Volkov 31-7, 20 out of his 31 wins are via TKO or knockout. He's 5-1 in the UFC, with his only loss being that knockout loss to Derek Lewis, which he was actually dominating the majority of that fight and was about to win a decision. So he could possibly be 6-1 in the UFC, or 6-0 in the UFC if Derek Lewis didn't come back late in that 4th or 5th round or whatever round that was and knock out Alexander Volkov. He's got wins over Greg Hardy in his most recent fight, Fabricio Verdum, Stephen Struve, Roy Nelson. He also has Bellator wins over Mighty Mo, Vladimir Ivanov, and Bellator losses to Tony Johnson, Chuck Congo, and Vitaly Medikov. He was finished in 4 out of 7 of his losses, which plays a little bit into Blaydes' hands. It's a hard one there. It's hard to say how much do you buy into the Alexander Volkov hype. Will Curtis Blaydes be able to take him down, wear him out, and finish him pretty early? That's what I would put. If I was betting man, that's what I would put my money on, would be Curtis Blaydes. Take him down, grind him out, and ultimately finishing him with ground and pound Mark Coleman style. The rest of the card plays out: Clay Guida, Bobby Green, Tisha Torres, Brianna Van Buren, Marc-Andre Barrio versus Oscar Pereira, Courtney Casey versus Jillian Robinson, Frank Camacho versus Matt Frivola, Roxanne Modafferi versus Lauren Murphy, and then Austin Herbert versus Mac Ruskoff, which is, I think, like a week and a half replacement to fight Austin Herbert. Great card. Everybody looked down on the card last week. And the card last week started off with a huge bang. Maybe it kind of fizzled out somewhere in there, but started off really big. The week after, we'll be back next Tuesday to predict the 27th card, which is Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker, Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall, Louis Pena, Conor Worthy, and much more. We'll see you guys back here next Tuesday to talk about the picks for that one. And I want to point out something for my picks, man, is I do it on Tuesday. I don't wait for the fucking odds to come out. I don't want Vegas people telling me how I should be picking or what I should think. I try to make my own opinion and predict on that, which the last 2 cards hasn't done too well. But I'm going to talk about those. We're going to talk about the good. See you guys next Tuesday.